The Lamp That Never Went Out. In a quiet village near the rugged hills of Bethlehem, where ancient stone houses dotted the landscape, there lived a young boy named Eliab. Unlike the mighty Samson, renowned for his immense strength, or the great King Solomon, known for his vast wisdom, Eliab possessed no extraordinary talents. He was a simple boy with kind, dark eyes and a gentle nature. He spent his days assisting his family and helping neighbors, always with a warm smile and a helpful hand. Eliab was often unnoticed, a quiet presence in the bustling village life. While others sought fame and fortune, Eliab found contentment in the simple pleasures of his surroundings. He was loved by those who knew him well, but to the rest of the village, he was just Eliab, the unassuming boy who lived near the hills. In a world that celebrated strength and power, Eliab's kindness was a quiet and beautiful light, shining brightly in the lives of those around him. Chapter 1. The Lantern's Light. One dark night, while exploring the edge of the village, Eliab stumbled upon a hidden cave nestled within the hills. Driven by curiosity, he cautiously stepped inside. To his surprise, he found an ancient oil lamp hanging from a rusty iron bracket, casting a warm, comforting glow. It was the lamp that never went out, a legendary source of hope that had illuminated the village for generations. Chapter 2. The Guard of the Lamp. Eliab felt a sense of awe and responsibility. He decided to become the keeper of the lamp, ensuring its flame never flickered. Every day, he would gather twigs and fuel to keep the lamp burning brightly. As news spread of the lamp's discovery, villagers began visiting the cave, drawing strength and inspiration from its unwavering light. Chapter 3. The Shadow of Darkness. However, not everyone welcomed the lamp's light. A group of bandits, led by a ruthless chieftain named Malachi, coveted the lamp's power. They plotted to steal it and use its light for their evil deeds. One night, Malachi and his men attacked the village, demanding the lamp's whereabouts. The villagers, though fearful, refused to give in. Chapter 4. The Triumph of Hope. Eliab, who had been hiding in the shadows, realized he had to protect the lamp. He led the bandits on a wild chase through the hills, outsmarting them with his knowledge of the terrain. Meanwhile, the villagers rallied, inspired by Eliab's courage. With combined effort, they managed to defeat the bandits and secure the lamp. Chapter 5. The Silent Chronicler. With Malachi's band defeated and the village safe, a tentative peace settled over the hills of Bethlehem. Yet the ordeal had left its mark. The villagers, once unified in terror, now struggled with the messy business of rebuilding and forgiveness. In this delicate time, Eliab found himself called to a new, quieter duty. Old Zadok, the village chronicler, had fallen ill. He was a man of few words, his life dedicated to meticulously transcribing the oral histories and genealogies of the settlement into massive leather-bound tomes. His workshop, located deep within the oldest stone structure in the village, a building that felt as ancient as the hills themselves, was a sanctuary of dust and ink. Recognizing Eliab's gentle nature and meticulous spirit, Zadok summoned him. "Eliab," the old man whispered, his voice like dry leaves, "the history of our people is not just written in blood and battles. It is also found in the quiet moments, in the acts of kindness that hold us together when the darkness threatens. I am fading, but these stories must endure. You have shown a light in the darkness. Now you must capture the light and the ink." Chapter 6. The Keeper of the Archive. And so Eliab, the simple shepherd boy, became the apprentice to the chronicler. His days were no longer spent exclusively among the flocks. Now he spent hours within the subterranean archive. It was a vast, labyrinthine room, carved partially into the bedrock. The air was cool and smelled of aged parchment and sweet oil. Countless shelves, built of dark, heavy oak and reinforced with aged metal, stretched upwards, disappearing into the shadowed vault of the ceiling. His primary task was to keep the lantern lit. The ancient oil lamp he had found, now revered as a sacred relic, hung above Zadok's main writing desk, suspended by an ornate iron bracket on a rough, moss-covered stone column. Its flame, Eliab's first charge, never failed. It illuminated the immediate area with a warm, steady glow, pushing back the deep, velvety shadows of the library. By this light, Eliab learned to prepare the vellum, mix the inks, and shape the quills. He spent years meticulously copying the damaged records, including accounts of the recent bandit attack, ensuring every word of the villagers' resilience was preserved. He discovered that the archives held more than just names. They contained the wisdom of generations, the failures and the triumphs of a simple people trying to live a good life. Chapter 7. The Unseen Influence. As Eliab worked, the village changed. Stories of his bravery in protecting the lamp began to take on a spiritual dimension. Travelers and pilgrims, hearing tales of the shepherd, boy who outwitted bandits and maintained the eternal flame, began to detour to the archive. They didn't see a warrior. They saw a figure bent over a desk, bathed in warm light, surrounded by the weight of time. Eliab rarely spoke to them, but the image was powerful. It symbolized the preservation of truth and the unwavering nature of hope. The flame above him, the lamp that never went out, became synonymous with Eliab's own steady presence. He was the silent center, the quiet force ensuring that even in the most shadowed times, a single clear flame of knowledge and kindness would endure. The archive, once a dusty afterthought, became a spiritual heart for the village, a place where people came to remember who they were, guided by the light that Eliab kept burning. Chapter 8. The Whisper of the Scrolls. Years flowed like a slow river. Zadok had long since passed, and Eliab was now the sole guardian of the archive, his own beard touched with silver. He had grown to understand the silent rhythm of the books and scrolls that surrounded him. They were not dead things. They possessed a quiet life, a collective memory that resonated within the cool stone walls. Sometimes late at night, when the only sound was the crackle of the lamp and his own breathing, he would feel a faint tremor in the air, a whisper that seemed to rise from the oldest, dustiest manuscripts. It wasn't menacing, but it was profound, the sound of countless voices yearning to be heard, to be understood. Eliab began to focus on the oldest, most fragmented scrolls, the ones that Zadok had said were too delicate to translate or preserve. They were written in an archaic script, their meaning obscure. Yet Eliab felt drawn to them. He believed that within their faded characters lay a different kind of wisdom, one perhaps more ancient and fundamental than the village records. He dedicated all his spare time to this task. He would gently unfurl a brittle scroll, illuminating it with the combined light of his own small oil lamp, and the lamp that never went out hanging above him. He studied the swirling, complex glyphs, comparing them to texts and other ancient languages he had researched. He worked with a patience that bordering on obsession, believing that these forgotten words held the key to a deeper, Understanding of the World and the Human Spirit. Chapter 9. The Code of the Hills. One particularly cold night, as the wind howled outside the thick stone walls, Eliab achieved a breakthrough. He was translating a portion of a scroll that spoke of the deep geological structures beneath the village. He realized that the archaic script used certain natural features, rock formations, specific plants, constellations as metaphorical codes for abstract concepts. The people who wrote these scrolls saw the landscape not just as a place to live, but as a living language, a physical expression of a cosmic order. This discovery opened a new world. Eliab began to see the hills of Bethlehem differently. He saw the rugged peaks and deep valleys as a vast, natural scripture waiting to be read. He realized that the village's traditions, its sacred places, its very stories, were all connected to this deeper, pre-literate code of the land itself. The scrolls weren't just a record of the past. They were a map, a guide to living in harmony with the environment and the forces that shaped it. He spent months retranslating Zadok's records. Now, with this new understanding, the stories of battles and alliances, of droughts and harvests, began to reveal hidden layers of meaning. He saw patterns he had missed before, connections between natural events and human behavior. He realized that the true history of his people was not just one of conflict and survival, but of a subtle, enduring dialogue with the land that sustained them. Chapter 10. The Unseen Tapestry. The news of Eliab's discovery spread, initially as rumor, then as a profound revelation. The villagers, already connected to the lamp that never went out as a symbol of hope, now saw it also as a source of forgotten wisdom. They began to see their environment not just as resource, but as a source of spiritual insight. Their relationship with the land deepened. They became more attentive to the changing seasons, the habits of local wildlife, the very texture of the stones in their homes. Eliab, however, remained unchanged. He was still the simple, unassuming guardian, his presence a constant, reassuring light in the subterranean archive. He knew that the scrolls had only whispered a fraction of their secrets. He knew that the Lamb's code was vast and complex, a language with an infinite number of interpretations. He also knew that his own understanding was still imperfect, a single candle in a boundless, starlit sky. He continued to work, to study, to translate, guided by the warm light of the eternal lamp and the even deeper light of his own curiosity. He knew that he was not just preserving a physical archive, but weaving a new strand into the unseen tapestry of his people's history, a strand made of ink and parchment, of stone and star, of kindness and knowledge. He was ensuring that the dialogue between the people and the land, like the flame of the sacred lamp, would never go out.